Garnacho will be about to swap Manchester United for Chelsea in January. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Welcome to another video. Today's video is going to centre around Alejandro Garnacho, currently of Manchester United, of course, being linked with heavy speculation surrounding his future, and a club that is being linked heavily with signing him in this January transfer window is none other than Chelsea Football Club, who, if reports are to be believed, are potentially readying a bid to submit to Manchester United in order to try and sign the 20-year-old Argentine winger. We're going to be talking about this potential big transfer story, but before we go any further and discussing all of that and much more, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you are new. Both things are always and forever be greatly appreciated. Get involved in the comment section as well. Let me know your thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it. That will make for great interesting reading on this potential transfer story. Use and abuse that comment section, people, and talk to me on this, because I would love to know what you have to say on this. And without further ado, we'll get on with the video ourselves, shall we? Let's talk Manchester United's Alejandro Garnacho and a potential move to Chelsea, which, if reports are to be believed, could be on the cards this January. It's been a pretty quiet January transfer window, hasn't it? Unless you're Manchester City, for a lot of other teams out there, it's been very, very quiet indeed. Not many teams have been making big splashes, making big waves in this transfer window, but this could be a big wave that many people are possibly going to be keeping their eyes on as we count down the days till transfer deadline day for the winter transfer window. Alejandro Garnacho, we know, has been attracting a fair amount of interest these past few weeks, mainly from Napoli. Napoli have reportedly had a bid submitted to Manchester United that got rejected by the club earlier on in this transfer window. We obviously know that they've lost a big player in Kvaratskhelia, of course, so they are potentially on the lookout for a left winger. Garnacho fits the bill. But in recent days, it's been Chelsea that have seemingly taken over, been strongly linked with signing him, and look in pole position to do so, given the fact that Manchester United have currently got him in the shop window. Alongside one or two other players, and big players at that, they potentially have him in the shop window because of the financial situation that Manchester United find themselves in, with obviously potential PSR stuff. We obviously know that Garnacho rose through the academy, so whatever they do sell him for is going to be big profit, to say the least. In recent days, Chelsea, like I say, have been linked with signing him. This has really divided both fan bases, in all honesty. I've seen a lot of people say that this is a good move for Chelsea. I've seen a lot of people question why Chelsea are going for yet another winger. I've seen a lot of Man United fans question why they would get rid of Garnacho. I've seen a lot of fans say that they should take the money for Garnacho. So this is a really divisive topic that I can't wait to read what you guys have to say on this, because I'm sure there'll be a very big range of comments in the comment section on this. So can't wait to hear from what you guys have to say. But in terms of this move, look, I personally am one that has never quite seen the big hype with Garnacho. I'm not saying he's a terrible player, I'm not saying he's a poor player, but I've seen a lot of United fans really hype him up since he burst onto the scene. I've just not really bought into that hype. Yes, there have been some really good moments. I mean, that goal he scored against Everton, that overhead kick, was out of this world phenomenal. It was insane, that overhead kick. There have been some other good moments as well. You know, I'm not denying that. I'm not saying that there isn't talent there, but I just think that maybe with who I'm hearing praise from, I just think it's a little bit overhyped from those people online, especially. I just think he lacks consistency. And now maybe you can put that down to the fact that he is 20 years of age. He's still relatively young. He's still got plenty of time to grow and evolve and get more experience in the game. I 100% get that. I've just never personally bought into the hype of Alejandro Garnacho. I'm not saying he's a terrible player, but I'm just saying I'm not exactly bought into this hype. Now, when it comes to obviously Chelsea attempting to sign him, I can understand if maybe they are looking at Jadon Sancho, for example, and going, this loan move hasn't quite worked out to where we expected. We'll give him back to Manchester United at the end of the season, and we'll move on to a different winger, and Garnacho fits the bill. Fine, fair enough. But is Garnacho a player that Chelsea really need? Because I'm looking at Chelsea right now, and I'm thinking they just need a consistent, prolific, ice running through his veins in front of goal type of finisher for a forward, not a winger. Garnacho doesn't fit the bill, in my opinion, in what Chelsea need. Chelsea, in my opinion, need a striker that is going to kill in front of goal, that is going to step on the throats of opposition. Not literally, of course. But you get what I mean. It's going to finish off the chances that Chelsea create. Nicholas Jackson had a good start to the season. He's dropped off since. But I've never been truly convinced that he's the guy to carry Chelsea forward. Decent squad player, can also provide options from the bench. But he's not going to be that prolific guy in front of goal that is going to lead Chelsea from the front to triumph in major honours in terms of the Premier League, Champions League, and so on and so forth. There are strikers like that out there. And when you think about what is being reported on that, you know, Chelsea are potentially readying a £60 million bid for Garnacho, could rise to 65, 70 odd, whatever. The figures there are not so different to signing the likes of, I don't know, say a Victor Osimhen, a Victor Gyökeres of Sporting Lisbon. I know that obviously his name's been branded around a lot, and I know again he divides opinion, but Dusan Vlahovic, Benjamin Sesko, you know, those are all kinds of players that are strikers, killing it in their own way, in their own leagues. And obviously, whenever people bring them up in transfer speculation, the kind of figures that people talk about are around about, give or take, the same amount of money that people are talking about this deal potentially going for here. Garnacho going to Chelsea for potentially 60 odd million. Well, if Chelsea was smarter about this, surely they would look at the identity of their squad and go, right, weakness, striker. We need a prolific, ice-cold goal scorer. Victor Gyökeres, Victor Osimhen, Dusan Vlahovic, Benjamin Sesko. All of them are sort of in the range of the kind of price tag that seemingly Garnacho would be going for. So why not just put all your efforts into that instead? Like I said, don't get me wrong, I get the whole Sancho thing, and if that hasn't worked out, I 100% get why they're going for a left wing. But for me, striker would be more important, and I don't necessarily think that Garnacho is an upgrade on what they have right now. I don't necessarily think that. And I've said in the past, like, if obviously there's a clear upgrade, go and get him. Even if he's not a priority, but the money makes sense and it makes sense from a squad perspective, go and get that player. This, to me, does not represent a decent signing because it doesn't make sense to me. I don't think Garnacho is that much of a step up from what they already have in likes of Pedro Neto, in terms of Madueke maybe, if you want to kind of put that winger as well onto that side, because he can also play all across the right as well. He's very versatile in that aspect, is Garnacho. I don't know. I don't necessarily know why this would be when, of course, you have a much more glaring problem, in my personal opinion, which is leading the line, scoring goals, and finishing off the chances that Chelsea make in abundance. Now, again, I will reiterate this point. He is 20 years of age, so maybe the youth and the youngness, and obviously him only bursting onto the scene in the past couple of years properly, may also contribute to why he's not the most consistent. Maybe as well the environment of Manchester United isn't the most environmentally friendly for him to grow and evolve as a player. Maybe a change of scenery may do him the world of good. Similarly to what I think about Marcus Rashford, but that may be a different story for another day. Just going over some of his stats. For Manchester United, he's played 119 games across all competitions, scoring 23 goals and assisting 14 times. That includes this season, where in all competitions he's played 33 times, scoring 8 goals and assisting 5 times. 3 of those goals came in the Premier League in 21 appearances. So he's averaging a goal every 7 games, pretty much in that particular category, in that particular league. But he has played something like, when you tally up his minutes and accumulate his minutes, he has played about 20 and a half Premier League games. 20 and a half games in all competitions. So it's not a terrible return, especially when you consider how poorly Manchester United have been this season. But when you factor in, there's been FA Cup games, there's been FA Cup against Arsenal, admittedly, but when there's been Carabao Cup games, when there's been Europa League games, even though Man United have been poor this season, you've got to take all those factors into account. So it's not terrible by any stretch of the imagination, but it's not incredible, it's not insane either. And again, that might tie into the whole different environment thing, may help him grow. Chelsea have got a good, young, youthful squad building up right now. So Garnacho definitely fits the bill in terms of, or fits the criteria, should I say, in terms of being a young player, 20 years of age, still got plenty of room to grow. Slightly Premier League proven, given the fact that obviously he's played pretty well since bursting onto the scene at Manchester United. Bedded in well. So yeah, there were good and bad points to this. So I can understand and see why both Chelsea and Manchester United fan bases are quite divided on this. This is another fully unproven talent that is potentially going to a Chelsea squad that again is still full of unproven talent. You know, barring one or two, there are still question marks over certain individuals and certain players in that Chelsea team. Even though they have had a decent season this year, there are still some question marks there. Garnacho going over there, for me, doesn't exactly raise the bar highly, doesn't exactly shift the needle, doesn't exactly raise the stakes in any sort of way, shape or form, but it would just be another player to add to the mix, in my personal opinion. Now, if they can get a tune out of him, and if they can get him to be consistent, and if they can get him to be at a sort of level where he's contributing, I don't know, say 30 goals and assists, or something ridiculous like that, in a single season, then maybe I'll turn around in a few years' time and be like, you know what, I'll hold my hands up and say I got this wrong. But for me, I don't understand why Chelsea would go for yet another winger when it seems apparent to me that the defence needs tightening up. The goalkeeper situation drastically needs improving. And of course, up front, I just don't think Nicholas Jackson cuts it as a prolific, ice running through his veins kind of finisher. But there are a few others on the market that may fit that specification. I'm just saying, that is all. For United, look, the financial position they're in is always going to be difficult, which is why they're trying to sell a couple of their academy graduates. It's not an amazing situation to be in, but again, the money that you recuperate from this deal, if it is to go through, could work wonders if you spend it in the right areas. And we all know that United have holes in their squad that are gaping and that obviously need to be filled. And that could really benefit Ruben Amorim. If you bring in the right players, it can really benefit him and his system. I said in my video that I did earlier this week on Man United and Amorim that he is in need of the right kind of players, not necessarily perfect ones, but the right kind of players that can at least do a job for the time being and for the near future. And this could be a big way in getting the wheels in motion in order to begin that kind of process. We wait and see on this deal. We wait and see if Chelsea actually do go fully in for Alejandro Garnacho, whether or not Garnacho actually does leave to go to Chelsea and make that switch, and what Man United do in the aftermath of potentially a big player of their squad leaving to a rival. Those are just the thoughts and comments and opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of Alejandro Garnacho and a potential move to Chelsea, maybe being on the cards for this January? I'd love to know what you guys have to say and have to think, and your thoughts and comments and opinions and predictions and whatever else you've got for me. I'm sure will make for great interest in reading down below in that comment section. Hit the like button on the way out if you haven't already. Subscribe if you are new or want to see more content like this. Both things are always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video. And I'll see you speak to you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll speak to you all again very, very, very soon.